Are we witnessing the most baffling free agency move in recent NBA history? Or is Brad Stevens about to pull off the ultimate reclamation project? The Boston Celtics, fresh off their dominant championship run, are reportedly interested in signing Ben Simmons, and honestly, I'm struggling to figure out whether this is genius or insanity, disguised as basketball strategy. Let's just pause for a moment and absorb the sheer audacity of this rumor. The defending NBA champions, a team that just steamrolled through the playoffs with precision and purpose, are now considering adding a player who averaged fewer points per game than most college benchwarmers. Ben Simmons, yes, that Ben Simmons, has somehow caught the attention of an organization that should be focused on repeating, not rehabilitating. Remember when Ben Simmons was the future of basketball? The 6'10" point guard who could do everything except shoot. Those days feel like ancient history now, buried under years of playoff meltdowns, trade demands, and performances so underwhelming they make you question whether you're watching the same sport. Last season was particularly brutal for Simmons. Split between the Brooklyn Nets and LA Clippers, he managed to average just 5.0 points, 4.7 rebounds, and 5.6 assists across 51 games. To put those numbers in perspective, there are high school players putting up better statistics. During the Clippers' playoff run, Simmons became essentially invisible, averaging a microscopic 0.8 points per game in just 8 minutes of action across 5 appearances. We're talking about a former #1 overall pick, a 3-time All-Star who has become so ineffective that playoff contending teams use him like a deep bench warmer. This isn't just a slump, this is a complete transformation from potential superstar to roster afterthought. Here's where things get interesting though. The Celtics aren't just any team making this inquiry, they're the defending champions, operating from a position of strength. When you've already proven you can win at the highest level, you have the luxury of taking calculated risks that other franchises simply cannot afford. Think about Boston's current situation. They're entering what many are calling a gap year, a season where they'll be without Jayson Tatum for extended periods due to various circumstances. This creates an unusual opportunity window where the Celtics can experiment with roster additions that might seem questionable under normal circumstances. The beauty of this potential move lies in its low-risk, potentially high-reward nature. If Simmons proves he still has something left in the tank, Boston gets a versatile playmaker at bargain basement prices. If he continues his downward spiral, they can simply move on without any significant financial or strategic damage to their championship core. The rehabilitation project nobody saw coming. What makes this rumor so fascinating is how it represents everything that's both brilliant and bewildering about modern NBA roster construction. On one hand, you have a championship organization with proven player development systems, strong veteran leadership, and a culture that demands excellence. If anyone can resurrect Ben Simmons' career, it would be a team like Boston. Consider the environment Simmons would be entering. He'd be surrounded by champions who understand what it takes to win at the highest level. The pressure would be off in terms of being a primary contributor, allowing him to focus on rediscovering his basketball identity without the crushing weight of expectations that have seemingly paralyzed him in recent years. Brad Stevens has shown remarkable ability to identify undervalued talent and maximize player potential within Boston's system. The question becomes whether Simmons' issues are purely basketball-related, or if the mental and emotional challenges he's faced have fundamentally altered his ability to compete at an elite level. The contract conundrum. The financial aspect of this potential signing raises its own set of intriguing questions. Most analysts expect any deal would be structured around the veteran's minimum, which would represent one of the most dramatic salary reductions in NBA history for a player of Simmons' former stature. But here's the twist that could make this whole scenario even more complex. Mark Stein also reported that the Celtics are continuing to shop Anthony Simons around the league. This suggests Boston might be planning more significant roster moves that could create additional salary cap flexibility for Simmons or other potential additions. The interconnected nature of these rumors hints at a larger strategic vision that goes beyond just signing a reclamation project. Stevens might be orchestrating a series of moves designed to maximize Boston's championship window while Tatum is away and create additional depth for when he returns. The mental health dimension. Can't discuss Ben Simmons without acknowledging the mental health struggles that have been well documented throughout his career. Basketball is as much a mental game as it is physical, and Simmons has been refreshingly open about his challenges with confidence, anxiety, and the psychological pressure of professional sports. From a humanitarian perspective, Boston could provide exactly the kind of stable, supportive environment that might allow Simmons to rediscover his love for the game. The Celtics have shown remarkable maturity in handling players going through difficult periods, and their championship culture could serve as therapeutic as much as strategic. However, this also represents the biggest risk in the entire equation. If Simmons' struggles are deeper than basketball mechanics or conditioning, no amount of organizational support may be sufficient to restore him to even a fraction of his former effectiveness. The competition factor. It's worth noting that Boston isn't the only team showing interest. The Phoenix Suns, New York Knicks, and Sacramento Kings have also reportedly engaged in discussions with Simmons' representation. This creates an interesting dynamic where multiple franchises are essentially betting that they can be the organization to unlock whatever potential remains. The fact that contending teams are willing to take this gamble suggests there's still something there worth pursuing. NBA executives aren't known for making sentimental decisions, and if multiple front offices see value in Simmons, perhaps the conventional wisdom about his decline has been overstated. The championship mindset test. Ultimately, this potential signing represents a fascinating test of championship mentality. Are the Celtics so confident in their ability to win that they can afford to take flyers on former stars? Or does this suggest a level of complacency that could undermine their title defense? The most successful franchises in sports history have consistently demonstrated willingness to make unconventional moves when operating from positions of strength. The New England Patriots built a dynasty partly through their ability to identify undervalued talent and maximize potential within their system. The verdict on risk and reward. If this signing happens, it will represent one of the most intriguing subplot stories of the upcoming NBA season. Either we'll witness one of the greatest career rehabilitations in basketball history, or we'll watch a championship team learn that some players are beyond saving. Regardless of organizational excellence, the beauty of this potential move is that it forces us to confront fundamental questions about second chances, organizational culture, and the delicate balance between championship ambition and compassionate player development. In a league often criticized for prioritizing profit over people, the Celtics might be showing that winning organizations can afford to invest in human potential, even when conventional wisdom suggests otherwise. Whether this gamble pays off remains to be seen, but one thing is certain: if Ben Simmons can find his way back to relevance anywhere, it would be in Boston, surrounded by champions who understand both the pressure and privilege of playing at the highest level. What's your take on this potential signing? Is this the kind of calculated risk that championship teams should be taking, or are the Celtics overthinking their roster needs? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to hit that like button if you're as fascinated as I am by this unlikely basketball marriage that nobody saw coming.